And you're now listening to Talking Famous.
What's up, y'all? Welcome back to Talk Infamous. You got your boy Saint.
Socially, what's going on?
I know it's been a minute. It's been a long minute. But, we're back and we're better. And, we took a much-needed, hiatus.
Yes, much needed.
Much needed. And we're back to bring you guys better content. And we have a lot in stores for this season. So this is just going to be our our second episode. Just kind of like, get things flowing back again.
Mm-hmm.
How you feel to be back?
Exciting.
Yeah, excited.
Yeah, I'm just gonna leave it at that. I'm just excited.
Yeah, I'm excited. I'm fine to just get back into the flow of things. And like I said, it's always great about our relationship and how we do things is we always find our way back. And yeah.
Yeah, and also I just want to say, right, why now? Because of timing,
Yes.
That's how timing works. But also too, I feel like when we are going to come on this platform, we want to make sure that certain topics are spoken about with intention.
Yes.
And I felt like this topic definitely has to be spoken about because Issa Rae is doing her thing and long overdue because we love our Black creators.
Yes.
So we wanted to definitely focus on Issa Rae. There's a lot of stuff going on. She did have few series that end up canceling a little prematurely, I would say. So we wanted to talk about who's Issa Rae, and even though some of the shows are canceled, you guys can still watch them because I feel like there's a lot of information on those shows that definitely you can use towards your own personal life. So,
but I will also say watch them before they get pulled off of the streaming services because HBO has been known to pull off their canceled shows now.
Really? I didn't know that.
Because of now, as far as revenue, because you have to still pay. So they cheat. They cheap out there.
For the streaming. Okay, got you. That makes sense.
Shall I get into who Issa Rae?
Yeah, let's get into it.
All right. Well, what I know from Issa Rae is I got introduced to her through the show Insecure, but I know she started off with her YouTube series, Awkward Black Girl, right?
Mm-hmm.
Where she started in, I believe, her senior year of college. And she went to school for like Black Studies and Media, I know, within that realm. And that's when she produced the show, and it became like really big around that time because, the platform, I believe it was on YouTube, right? It was YouTube.
Yeah.
So that was like the stages of YouTube. So she was like one of those first innovators of using YouTube to kind of use as a platform to display your work. And along the line, she got signed with HBO, which was kind of which was Insecure, which was in a sense kind of like I would say kind of like the same type of show context, right?
Mm-hmm.
Insecure, which had a lot of success. She had 2 other shows that were released, which were Sweet Life of LA, which is a reality series, and then she also came out with Rap Shit, which is a story kind of loosely based off of JT and Miami's rise to like being a woman in hip hop.
Just to go back, what's so crazy? When I first came across Insecure. I was, seeing this advertised, and I'm like, okay, let me get into it.
Yeah.
And I'm watching, I'm like, yo, this lady looks so familiar. And I didn't realize I actually known Issa Rae from Awkward Black Girl.
Wow.
And shout out to my best friend from middle school.
So you've been on.
Somewhat.
Yeah.
My best friend been on. And this was middle school. I'm like 11 or 12. She's like, this is the YouTube era. When YouTube first came out. She was like, yo, this girl's so funny. And I was watching a few of the episodes with her, but I wasn't faithfully on it.
Yeah.
And then I forgot about it. Then like 10 years down the line, she on HBO with her series Insecure. And so Insecure is a little loosely based on Awkward Black Girl.
Yeah.
Hence, you can see the wordplay Insecure.
Yeah.
It talks about a lot of these awkward moments or these insecure moments and how she navigates to finding herself and her success, as well as her friendship and relationships around her.
As a Black person, I think that's what resonated about the show.
Yes.
I remember initially when I first watched it was when like I believe I was in high school or like senior year of high school going into college, and I loved the show, but it wasn't until I rewatched it early this year. Well, last year technically. Yeah. And I've been through things as a young adult where I was like, oh shit, this show is like the real deal.
It really, there's a lot of gems that it's so relatable. And I feel like that was so different from other Black shows that have been told and other TV shows in general, because I feel like she was telling the story so authentically through different perspectives.
Yeah.
And usually when I watch a lot of Black shows, you kind of get this one perspective. But like to be a storyteller and really create somebody's different perspective in just one episode is complex and it's not an easy task. Let's get into what Insecure is about.
Yeah.
So we're going to break. So we told Issa Rae, like you said, is actress, producer, comedian.
All of the things. She literally everything.
Everything.
She run the whole ship. That's what we got to mention. I forgot to mention that. Like, she writes, produce, acts in it. Yeah.
And she just created, well, I won't say just created, but she does have her own media company called Hooray Productions.
And they do podcasts.
They do podcasts. So she does, they do film and television, digital work. She has different segments a part of it. So she has Color Creative, which is a company that manages writers. She has an audio company, music company, and soon a Hooray Marketing. I think the marketing team is already there, like in place. It's already going.
Yeah.
So let's get into Insecure.
Yeah.
What did you like about Insecure?
I think.
Who was your favorite character? Let's start with that.
I had so many characters, but of course, I think it was Issa.
Right. Why did you like Issa's character in Insecure?
Because I think it was so heavily like about her just finding herself. I think I remember in the first episode, which I didn't pick up on until I rewatched it. She was like, oh crap, I'm blanking.
Was it when she was talking to herself in the mirror? And I was like, yeah, that's me.
She said, I just want to get to the part of my life where everything is all right, or something like that. I'm probably butchering it. I think it was a different line. But pretty much that show was like the trajectory of what the show was about. Like essentially her just trying to figure out her whole entire 20s. Whether, like you said, pertaining to love, relationships, and, you know, her career, which is something that I'm still kind of like, I'm still working through. So I love this scene that, like, you know, here's somebody who's in their late 20s, essentially at my age, still figuring out, and then seeing how she was able to overcome that and work through all that.
And the great thing about that, you see her literally from the beginning. So at first, in the beginning of the season, she's working at an at-risk youth organization or after-school program. And she's like the only Black person. But this company is kind of surrounded about, you know, a lot of the youth. And at this point, it's a lot of Black youth, because usually what they call at-risk is people that don't have the means to get to where they want to get a little bit quicker. So she was kind of navigating that. And then she was just like, her voice was kind of being unheard. But she has so many ideas. And I think that as you watch each episode, you can see how, regardless if that journey doesn't make sense, because she end up towards season 5, she ended up getting towards being a person that is facilitating events. She ended up being an event curator and working with these amazing artists throughout different states like LA and so on. And
it all made sense to where she started.
Exactly. So I think the thing that I got from it is that whether you are at the place you are that you don't want to be, there's things that you're going to be able to take from that experience, and that lesson learned will allow you to jump to the next experience, and you kind of see slowly how she navigates that.
Trusting her journey.
Trusting the journey. Now, but besides her success, which I felt like was really good because you can kind of envision yourself in her foot. I think it was the way she told a lot of the relationships that she had with her best friend. She had like a lot of real moments.
It was real.
Any real moment that stuck out to you when it came to her relationship with men or just her friendships?
Damn. There's so many of them. I
think one thing for me, I'm like, anyone? Let me go. One thing, and it was so many. It was one thing when she talked about this dude that she was texting, and this is like she was with this long-term boyfriend. She took a break. Now she's just dating, and she come across this dude who she seems in awe of, like he's so handsome. And they start dating the light-skinned boy, and he goes MIA, and so but it's so real, because then you see, you know, within the dating life, people go MIA, and you don't know.
Ghosting. We all been ghosted.
Ghosting, right?
Or we've ghosted.
So you see her trying to navigate through that, and it's so funny because it's like, okay, cool, I'm not alone. This is relatable. But then she uncovers why he went MIA. I don't know if I should say it.
And it was very humanizing.
And we kind of understood, okay, this is why this person went MIA. And not everybody get like those answers
that's true.
to why people ghost. But it makes you think about what's happening on the other side of what you don't know.
And it allows you to heal. Like you said, because not everyone gets those answers. And honestly, it may not be the same story, because some people just ghost because they're fucking
just
assholes.
Be messy.
But sometimes like just, like you said, it gives you that reassurance. I'm not the only one who's been through this experience. And also it gives you like a perspective. It may not be they're going through the same thing, but sometimes you get caught up in, like, you personalize the situation where you don't know what the other person may be going through or what the circumstances may be.
And I think you have to ask yourself, does this work for me, regardless of other person's situation? And towards the end, she ultimately just walked away from that. Even though she did like him and she understood what was going on, she just knew that this is not for me.
Right. I think there's so many relationships, like I said, that I felt like each relationship she taught us something. But I think the one at the core was the one between her and Lawrence. Just seeing the dynamic of like, you know, how they early started on, and like he was kind of like mentally, well, she was already emotionally detached because he was just like not in the space.
Not in the space of like basically the just the imagery. She'll come home from work and he's like a potato couch, and so he was at kind of like a halt in his career. You know, he had degrees in certain stuff. It was just he was complacent at the time, and at this point where she's trying to figure out, okay, what's the next step?
Yeah,
you know, you.
And I feel like with Lawrence, he got so much shit at the time, and I feel like now that I watch things, I feel like a lot of people, in a sense, whether you've been there or not, like I feel like you could see why he's at. You can feel why he was the way he was at that time, because a lot of times, especially when you're in your 20s, there's so much pressure to have, you know, your working career life figured out. So when you don't have that, it could take an emotional toll on you. You know what I mean? So he was really down bad in a really bad space. So I mean, just watching that, I feel like seeing the dynamics of how their relationship played out, and also seeing how he was able to grow and evolve, and then seeing how they were able to come together. Because usually you'll see like that will start off and then she'll end up with somebody else.
Yeah. Towards the end, they actually end up coming back together.
Sorry. Like said, what was it called?
Maybe I'll put a little spoiler alert.
Spoiler alert, yeah.
2 minutes before.
But still watch it regardless, because it's still like the way we're saying it does no justice. You gotta like feel it and see it.
Right. Yeah. I think that's the word, is feel it, because I haven't come across a show where I really like felt it.
Yeah.
So
and that's about her work throughout. Her work makes you feel.
Her best friend storyline was pretty good. I really liked the dynamic of her best friend, because I feel like her best friend, I think, was a lawyer at the time. She was getting money, and Issa Rae was struggling check to check.
Yeah.
And she was with her man that she'd been with for a minute, and her best friend was single as a pickle. I don't know. I just made that up. And so like her and her best friend, they're at 2 different stages. And, you know, a lot of the conversations that I've come across now, you really want to surround yourself with people that's on the same level, because you can kind of learn from it. But I think in Issa Rae's perspective, when you have her best friend that was kind of, you know, working her way to success a little bit much faster at that point in time in her career, I think it gave her a little bit of motivation, but also kind of hindered a lot of the way they seen things. But I think with the communication that you see with each episode that they had, when they communicated, it was so raw, and the communication was set with intention. I feel like sometimes people have these things that they want to get off their chest, but they have the right intention, but they don't have the right delivery. And so sometimes that's why I say it's so important to build your vocabulary, because you want to make sure you are able to speak genuinely to how you feel and be able to communicate that. And I think that was a perfect thing that I love that Issa Rae wrote in.
And then she also talked about like even the thing of codependencies in friendship, because at some point, even Molly, she was very codependent on the fact that Issa wasn't there as far as success. So when she started seeing Issa become more successful, there was a little bit of like, I feel like there was a little bit of jealousy. I wouldn't say envy, because I would say there was jealousy, or like, it was jealousy. And I think in friendships and stuff like that, not everything is always great. You know, there's going to be moments of hardship. There's going to be moments of, you know, mixed feelings.
Yeah.
And I think she spoke to that, also how to overcome those things. I don't know if jealousy is the right word, but it feels like.
I think jealousy can be the right word.
Yeah.
I think it doesn't have to be so like evil about it.
Right.
Because you could be maybe. Yeah, I guess jealous. Let's leave like that.
We won't leave it like that. Y'all get the point. If you watch the show, you get it. Yeah, you get it.
All right, so let's talk about her sex. So they ended after 5 seasons. Yes, it was made so Insecure did really well on Max. It lasted for 5 seasons, and that's how it was written anyway, because it was supposed to end that time. But it was perfect because Issa Rae had the chance with a whole team to really develop a whole storyline. Now, speaking of Sweet Life, because we're going to jump to Sweet Life, because I think Rap Shit and Sweet Life came out during the same time, right?
Yes, you're right. Yeah.
Now, Sweet Life was a little bit different. And we're gonna speak about Sweet Life first, only because Sweet Life got canceled before Rap Shit. Right?
And, wait, clear distinction too. Insecure was on HBO on cable network, and then these things were on HBO Max, which is their streaming platform. That's like a clear distinction because it's gonna make sense towards the end.
So Sweet Life was a reality TV series, and this is the first reality TV series that really showcased Black people, young Black people in trying to navigate their relationships as well as their own identity, as well as their own success. And I've never seen anything like that when it came to reality TV series, because whether you're watching Housewives or whatever, it's always raunchy, ghetto, emphasis on the ghetto,
older people, just being ghetto,
just ghetto, and I felt like it was really good to see, and it kind of sucks that they ended it after the second season, because I think so with Sweet Life, it was one friend that had all these networks of people that she created friendships, and they was all trying to navigate, and so based on her network of friendship, they kind of narrowed down and just watched that friend group as they navigate creating their own businesses, finding themselves, and even when they had, because it is reality TV series, so you want to see drama, even when they had conflict, they discussed it in ways that made sense. There's a lot of times when you watch reality TV series and it doesn't make no sense. Nobody handles stuff like this unless they don't have the right, what's the word? They don't have the capacity to do it. You see a lot of new reality TV series when it comes to Baddies East or whatever. They just don't have a capacity to communicate how they feel. Even Housewives, because Housewives, you could say it's a little bit step up from Baddies East because it's not constant fighting. But even the cattiness and how they talk, I feel like that's not real conversation. And one thing with Sweet Life, I think they did a great job. And on top of that, the fact that they was all young. A lot of them was like in their 20s. So seeing people our age that's able to articulate the way that you are supposed to, I think was very needed when it came to the reality TV series platform. Fun fact,
I feel like it was just no fake drama. It was just organic. If there was drama, it was like more organic drama. It wasn't like anything that they was planting.
Planting. That's one thing I hate about a lot of the executive producers when it comes to creating those reality TV shows. It seems very fake and obviously not genuine. But one fun fact about Issa Rae, and I don't know if this is why she started creating series like this. It could have been before then, but she was talking about how she grew up, and there was a lot of Black shows, and I think the first Black reality TV series that was out was Flavor of Love, and even though she was watching it because this is Black reality TV series, she knew that wasn't authentic. This is not how Black people sound, and I would say no, there is Black people that sound like that, but this is not the mass majority of what Black people are. Anything else you want to add on to Sweet Life?
Yeah, I think I was just like, I really like the show. I was already planning on being on the New York version.
Right.
We was talking about that. But yeah, I guess like you said, it was a really good show just highlighting, young entrepreneurs, creatives, just finding a way, building friendships. And like I said, the drama was it was drama because it's reality TV, but I feel like it was never anything that was
raunchy.
Yeah, outside of like, regular friendships arguments, over like, little petty shit or maybe like major stuff. But yeah.
Now let's talk about rap shit.
So it went into 2 seasons, and after that, it was canceled.
Now, I do remember seeing Sweet Life advertised on some of the buses. I'm only saying that because, like I said, it was a big difference when it came to the marketing of the other series that Issa Rae was putting out. Insecure had a lot of coverage. Sweet Life, I didn't really hear much about it. I think you was the one that put me on. That's how I heard about it. And so I ended up checking it out. And then unfortunately, this, after season 2, got canceled. Now let's talk about Rap Shit. Now Rap Shit came out almost around the same time. They put out season 1, and then season 2 was supposed to drop summertime of last year, but because of the actors' strike, they kind of postponed it and they dropped it this November. And that was it. So that they dropped it just this November. And as soon as they dropped it and they released the last episode, information came out that Rap Shit was canceled. Now, you want to go into what Rap Shit was about? Because I think you kind of mentioned a little bit.
So Rap Shit is pretty much, I know she worked with JT and Carisha. Plus she kind of wanted to have a story that highlighted, 2 women in rap kind of like coming up. So that's pretty much the premise of the show. You just see these 2 girls who are on the rise to coming rap stars. You have the one who's a little bit more socially conscious, and then you have the one who's like the standard like city girl, like through and through. But then you see like the one who's a little bit more socially conscious, kind of like bending throughout the series. And yeah, you just started seeing them coming up.
I think that was so good because definitely in the age of media, definitely in the last 10 years since City Girl culture came out, you definitely see a big difference on how a lot of the girls on social media, and I emphasize social media because that's not what I see when I'm walking outside all the time. But on social media, the culture is like, whatever you want to do, you give me, as long as you pay me, you're gonna get whatever you get. Right. And a lot of the music is made that way. But Ida, who plays as Shauna, she was, like you said, was socially conscious, and she tried to make it out as a rap artist by herself back in the day, but people wasn't hearing that. And then one day she meets up with her estranged friend, and they make this single on Instagram Live called Seducing Scheme. Yeah. And it was a hit. It was catchy. And so as they joined this producer, he's like, listen, we're going to make it happen. You can see slowly, even though she's trying to fight for her own values, she's getting so much peer pressure into the realisticness of you trying to still stick with your values, but you make it in the music industry. Yeah. And I'm not saying this it's not possible. It's definitely ways to do that. Unless you don't go into the big record labels. But I was hoping to see after season 2 what would happen after she's making her stardom. If
she's able to still
bring it back to herself, right? Or if she ever even comes to that point.
Because I'm not gonna lie, some of the things she was kind of with the shits with. I think at some point, like you said, because she's in that space and she's just going with it, and But I think another thing you brought up was really great was the social media aspect, which I think is a great thing that you brought up because Issa Rae was very intentional in highlighting social media. There were certain shots where you'll see the show is pretty much being shot from the viewpoint of Instagram or Snapchat. And I think that was kind of her kind of speaking to trying to make that instrumental in her message about social media and the facades and all those type of things. So,
that was a good point. I felt like she definitely did her thing with creatively.
That was very innovative.
So shout out to you.
Yeah. But again, that show got canceled as well. And of course, Twitter was in an uproar when they found out. A lot of people were devastated. Me and her was talking about this because even with season 1, I think season 1 I caught on pretty early, when it first came out, so I was following through and through. But then by the time season 2 came out, because like you said, because of the writer strikes and stuff like that, it was so long. So by the time it got released, I had seen it came out and I watched one episode, but I was like, I'm gonna get back to it because I kind of fell asleep. But I knew I was gonna come back to it because I love Issa and I know her stuff is good. But work and shit, niggas be tired. So I fell asleep. And then it ended up being okay, I was gonna watch it. It ended up being 3 weeks. And by the time I got to it, all the things were already available. All the episodes were already available. So I just literally binge watched the whole entire thing. And I think my point is going to the fact of a lot of people brought up the fact of were people actually streaming it? What was the viewership? It was a good show, but what was the viewership? And I was well, people got to understand streaming versus cable network is very different. And those times are really different. Insecure came out how many years ago?
I want to say 2016.
Yeah, 2016. And even though that's kind of a short and long time, but as far as how we've moved and as far as streaming, back then, like I said, the only streaming thing that was really around was probably Netflix.
Yeah.
And then you have so now you got all these mediums kind of pushing out streaming services, and it's changing the way the viewers view stuff. So back then we used to watch Insecure on a night of, and people be on Twitter and we all chatting it up. But now that you have something with streaming, it gives the viewer enough time to depend on to make that determination when they want to watch it. That shouldn't be the standpoint of whether or not a show should be
disconnected.
Disconnected, yeah.
Disconnected. I think that too. You made up a good point. How streaming service has just been pumping out the last few years. And there's so many streaming platforms. I think that people have a short attention span. So as soon as you see advertising for this, you scroll two more images down, you watching another advertisement for another show. But I will say, I want to say that the reason that Rapture and Sweet Life didn't do as well as Insecure because of the lack of marketing. I don't think the same amount of funds that was meant for Insecure was the same funds that they gave for these two shows. Which, I mean, I don't get it because I felt like they was doing so well. And they wasn't getting a lot of viewership because obviously the more viewership, the more money that they're going to make. But there was lack of advertisement, so...
I think you bring up a good point. But I'm also questioning because my thing is when it comes to streaming stuff, how much of marketing do you see? Like, as far as like stuff streaming, like a show that's streaming, like how much of marketing do you see on a daily with any typical show? I feel like if anything, if I'm going to see something that's being marketed via through a streaming platform, it's usually through like Twitter and Instagram. Those are kind of like the standard things.
I
feel like traditional marketing with shows, like I feel like I don't see that enough unless it's like a show that's on already on ABC, like it's showing up on ABC. Or,
I would say yes and no because look at Apple TV.
Mm-hmm.
Now, Apple TV, Apple TV, they don't have their own channel. This is just an app that you have.
Yeah.
Now, you have the morning show, and I'm only mentioning that because I like that show.
I get into that show.
Right? You heard about it.
I don't got Apple TV. Somebody want to give me the Apple TV, just DM me, please.
This is an example. I gave my Apple TV.
You real.
But this is my point. Apple, you heard about the morning show, but you don't.
That show.
You're not on the
actual
app.
Yeah, because I honestly, when I go on YouTube, I always see a lot of their
advertisements on their buses, billboards. You see it more often.
So pretty much it is a kind of like, it seems like it is a black thing then.
A black thing? Or it could be less fun.
Less fun for a black show though.
It could be.
I think that's what it is because it's like if the shows are equally, I feel like it's quality wise and it's a good quality show. Mm-hmm. Why aren't you guys giving her the necessary marketing to push her show?
And you know what's so interesting because when you brought up how JT and Miami is executive producers, when I went on the and this is not.
I don't think they were executive producers.
No,
I just think they was on.
No, it was executive producers. Okay. They were executive producers.
They should have been.
I don't know how much work they had in, but my thing is,
why weren't they?
Why not advertise a show? And I understand that they have contracts because definitely with their music labels and stuff, when you're part of a big record label, it's very strict when it comes to advertisement. This is what you're supposed to be promoting. You're not supposed to be promoting other stuff. You're supposed to be listen, you promote city culture. That's the culture that you want to promote. That's what you That's what you got the contract for. So I don't know why they didn't promote it on their Instagram. And I'm just saying reasons that it could be. There's no guarantee. But even situations like that, why JT in Miami would have brought a lot of viewership to the show. And you go on Instagram, you ain't seen that one thing about it. And I'm like, this is something that you should be boasted about because this is actually genuine work. So it speaks to the facets of you finding yourself in the industry and you trying to fight for your values.
Yeah, my thing is I question now that you bring it because I never thought about that. I'm like, damn, you're right. They should have been promoting. So you bring a good point. Was it the politics the reason why they couldn't do it, or was it because they didn't like the creative direction?
And I think it could be. I think it could be creative direction. Not that they necessarily didn't like it. I just think that when it comes to these corporations and stuff, when you tell a story that speaks to you finding yourself authentically and genuinely, they don't want that stuff to be heard. Look at Sweet Life. Like I said, it wasn't a raunchy. It's not like a Zeus TV show, but they canceled that in 3.5 seconds.
But my thing is, what I was talking about, in my opinion, with the creative direction, I feel like, did they feel like the characters didn't speak to them? Because I think if anything, that one girl probably spoke to both of them, but the other girl didn't.
See, you brought up the point how it's loosely created based on that. I don't.
You don't think that was that?
I don't think it's necessarily created on them. I think that Issa Rae used them as creative inspiration, but I don't think that the character is based on them. And I don't. So I don't think.
No, I'm saying. I'm saying it's not. But I think maybe in their mind, when they got in those meetings, like they thought the show was going to be. Because like a lot of the times when production is like a show will start off one way, or like they probably had to attend like, oh, this show is going to probably be loosely based off me, but then she kind of made her own thing. You know what I'm saying? So was there not like a clear understanding of where they were fitting into the situation? So to that point, when the show came out, they probably seen it and it was like, oh, like
that's not it.
Yeah.
Nah, I don't know. I doubt it. Only reason I doubt it, even though, like I said,
I think regardless if they,
you
doubt it.
I don't think so. But
so, what are the answers, JT and Carisha? Because we got to know. Because it was.
Say you both are executive producers on Issa Rae Rap Shit. What is your least favorite part of the job?
That we ain't never been to work. I'm just playing. I fuck with the girls on the cast. So, shout out to Issa Rae. Shout out Chameleon.
And the whole Rap Shit. Because we executive producers, period.
I think you got to take a shot for that.
Why? Oh, because you messy.
Which one?
Because if it's not the creative thing, it has to be the politics then. It makes no sense.
It's the politics.
Because it's a good show.
If you're making millions of dollars of promoting the city culture, you think the corporations you work for want you promoting rap shit? Want you promoting stuff like that? And I'm not, like I said, rap shit it talks about the music industry and it does have stuff that's in there. But it also speaks to finding yourself and trying to speak on morality. And city culture is not that. It really isn't. City culture is about you sacrificing your morals and values for a bag, for a check. That's really all it is. And you empowering yourself.
She about to get dragged by the city girls in the comments.
No, not just city, not the city girl. I'm talking about city culture.
Yeah.
That whole era, this whole era, because it's still going on.
Still going.
I just want to shout out. Okay, any final notes about it?
I kind of want to end off with this.
Okay.
With what she said. I don't know. So if you want to go.
So I wanted to mention how Cat Williams brought up Tyler Perry, how Tyler Perry is a gatekeeper, and just to be like the opposite, I really want to give Issa Rae her flowers, and I feel like everybody been giving her flowers, and I'm glad. Issa Rae, with all her production companies and all the projects she works on, she makes sure that she gives a lot of Black creators, producers, and writers a chance to be a part of it and start their own resume and start their own career path. I really think that is empowering. And ever since Issa Rae journey, I don't want to say ever since. I don't want to say ever since. Yeah, I want to work with you too, girl.
Yeah, work with. Yeah.
I'll work for you too.
Work for you either way.
I don't want to say Issa Rae pioneered the pathway because there was other Black creators that was in the works. I just think that she set the tone. And so I just want to shout out these other writers, Quinta Brunson. I believe she just won an Emmy. I think Issa Rae won an Emmy as well for Insecure. I hope I'm not wrong, but I know she won an award. But Quinta Brunson, which is the creator of ABBA Elementary, she's doing her thing too. She's a comedian, writer, producer, creator. As well as Robin Thede. Robin Thede is the creator of Black Lady Sketch Show. If you ever watched that show is really great. She also co-created that with, Issa Rae also co-executive that show with Robin Thede, but Robin Thede is the sole creator. So look into these other Black artists and creators.
Lakeith, what's his name?
Lakeith Stanfield. Ed Bree.
Yeah. She's from The Bear. She's a really good. She actually just won an Emmy. And
actress and comedian and television writer. Okay,
yeah,
I heard
she's great. She's really good. She's on the show The Bear, which I'm gonna put you on Hulu. It's really good.
But check
she just won a Golden Globe and an Emmy. Yes,
and an Emmy. But check out Quinta Brunson and Robin Thede because, like I said, they're on the same. I want to say on the same kind of level of Issa Rae.
Yeah.
But you said what was her name again?
Ayo. I'm not great. We'll post a picture.
Yeah, we do.
But y'all probably know who we talking about. Yes, but yeah, I do want to end off with this one thing because Issa definitely recently just spoke to the current matter in her cover for, the Porter magazine. And this is what she had to say. Issa Rae says she's taking more steps to try to be independent down the line if I have to. You're seeing so many Black shows get canceled. You're seeing so many executives, especially on the DEI, which stands for Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion side, get canned. You're seeing very clearly now that our stories are less of a priority. I'm pessimistic because there's no one holding anyone accountable. And can she hold somebody accountable? She said, I can, but at what cost? I can't force you to make my stuff. And I think she made a great point I think a lot of times we are a lot harder on our Black creators because we're like, well, you're the one, you're in a position to do so. But we don't realize there's only even though they have reached a level of success that a lot of Black people are striving to get to, there's only but so much when you're messing with those type of corporations.
Yeah. And
she's doing all that she can. And that's what she's trying to say. Like, at what cost? At what cost I'm going to burn these, bridges? At the end of the day, I have to work with these people, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I can get the content that I want to give out to you guys on the biggest platform that I can. And this one guy kind of retweeted this, and he said something really cool that I really like. He said, this has been the message I've been receiving all year. The old dream of making it into Hollywood or having your stuff brought is no longer appealing. Owning your own work and distributing it globally to an audience of your own choosing is where it's at. I think that's the truth of the matter.
I think so. And look at Zeus Network. I mean, that's not a good example, but Zeus Network he made his own platform.
Yeah.
And they're getting a lot of money from it. People tuning into it. And I think Issa Rae has the ability to do that.
And I think she actually has her own. She has
her own production company.
But it's not a streaming platform.
It's not a streaming platform, but I know She did an interview 7 months ago, and I want to say with Variety magazine that she is working on creating her own studio in LA. Yes. I think once you have the studio, you have much more abilities. Because look at Tyler Perry. Tyler Perry started off with having his own studio, so he was able to produce certain things. Shoot, the first debut movie that Diary of a Mad Black Woman was recorded in his house. So I think you having the facilities and the space to do the work is powerful on its own.
Essentially, for Issa Rae, this is nothing new. This is what she's been doing. Yeah. She did that when she was in high school, when she was in college, in her senior year, and she created that on her own. So I feel like now she's recognizing she got these deals with them. First of all, she had a very successful show. She got a very great deal with them, but she realized that they weren't appreciating what she brought to the table. And I think I'm also happy that a lot of people, as far as our community, was showing out as far as on social media, because it was showing that, and no, it's not about me. It's not that I'm not giving my best work. It's that they don't care about what I have to provide.
Right.
So I think now she's going back in her bag. She's a Capricorn woman, so she's going back in her Capricorn. She's staying in her fucking business, and she's going to re-navigate and come back better. And I hope someone like Tyler Perry, who already has the means, can loan her some of his resources.
Nah. I don't want Tyler Perry to touch Issa Rae.
No, I mean, like, just give her the studio. I mean, like, give her the studio. Nah. Don't touch anything. But knowing him, he probably won't. He probably want to touch things, and we don't want that.
We don't. Right.
But
listen,
I feel like he should give her like a studio space.
I think Issa Rae needs to do it by herself. Yeah. But one thing I will say with Hollywood is that if you make a connection,
strings come attached.
Right. Strings is always attached when it comes to Hollywood. And that's one thing that's so annoying, is that there's a lot of Black people that want to get involved in Hollywood. And Hollywood is not for Black people. It's really not. But you being able to make your own voice is big. Yeah, listen, like I said, flowers, congratulations to her. I'm happy for her.
Yeah.
But I'm so over Tyler Perry, and I'm over Oprah Winfrey.
Ooh, that's a whole nother episode. We got to talk about Tyler Perry, Oprah Winfrey, and Hollywood, and it being created about the Jews. But see you guys next time on Talk Infamous.
Peace.
Peace.